More than 20,000 sailors are living their worst nightmare in the Strait of Hormuz. Crews stuck in Hormuz are not only facing fuel and food shortages, but are also suffering from psychological stress. With no respite in Hormuz blockade even after the ceasefire, sailors fear for their lives as numerous attacks, injuries and deaths have been reported since March 1, 2026. The war that began as a deterrence to Iran's nuclear ambitions soon strangled the oil and gas flow out of the Persian Gulf. The world economy woke up to its biggest fear as Iran, in response to US and Israeli attacks, effectively brought the trade transit to a standstill. Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz. The worst that could happen to the global oil trade had already happened. A maritime passage for 20% of global oil export and 1/5 of gas exports was choked by Iran. The tricky geography of the Iranian coastline made it seize the opportunity to blackmail global economies. Lying between the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman, Iran lies to the north. The only sea passage from the Gulf to the open sea, Hormuz, gets dramatically narrow at Iran's coastline. This makes the Iranian Navy attack and disrupt vessel passage. Oil prices hit an all-time high, highest since 2022 and more than 50 to 55% since the inception of the US-Iran war on February 28, 2026. Global markets witnessed Brent crude jump from $73 per barrel to as high as $125 per barrel. America's gas prices began to rise too and crossed $4, registering a rise of 47% since the Iran war. But it is not just oil and gas that jolted the consumers, but the trickle-down effect to numerous industries like food, transport, agriculture, and pharma that directly or indirectly depended on crude oil and gas. Even though the US and Iran agreed on a ceasefire, the world continues to feel the pain as Hormuz is being choked badly and continuously. Around 2,000 to 3,000 merchant vessels are still trapped in Hormuz with nowhere to go. In response to Iran's closure of Hormuz, the US had launched its naval blockade of all Iranian ports. Now, what did that do? It stopped all vessels entering or exiting the ports of Iran. Trump has been successfully choking Iran's economy as it heavily relies on its oil exports to major Asian powers like China. As per the US Defense Department, Iran has lost around $4.8 billion in oil revenue by May 1st. President Donald Trump has come to the rescue of the trapped sailors in the Persian Gulf. As a gesture to humanity, Trump declared that he would help the vessels pass the Strait of Hormuz. For more than 2,000 ships and approximately 20,000 sailors stuck in Hormuz, the US military has launched Project Freedom. Trump stated that this was a gesture on behalf of the United States, Middle Eastern countries, but in particular the country of Iran. US Central Command forces will begin Project Freedom on May 4th. It is aimed at restoring freedom of navigation for commercial shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. The mission will support merchant vessels seeking to freely transit through the essential international trade corridor. The Project Freedom will include guided missile destroyers, over 100 land and sea-based aircraft, multi-domain unmanned platforms, and 15,000 service members. So, is the key supply route finally free and safe? Here is the catch. The rescue operation is not aimed at providing free transit to one and all. President Trump clarified that the mission solely aims to help vessels that are not affiliated with conflicting nations. Trump said that once freed, they will not return until the maritime passage becomes safe. This means the project will only enable the passage of already stranded ships from neutral countries. The project says nothing about the end of the Hormuz blockade implemented by Iranian forces, nor does it indicate a near end to the Hormuz crisis. Trump clearly announced that it is merely meant to free up people, companies, and countries that have done absolutely nothing wrong. The Project Freedom has been launched to clear the stranded ships since the beginning of US-Iran war. It is not launched to open the Hormuz for all. On April 1st, Trump told the US Congress that hostilities between the US and Iran had terminated. However, regarding Project Freedom, Trump threatened that in case of any resistance from Iran, the US would respond with force. The US president also told the media that Iran's cooperation in freeing up the trapped merchant vessels would be appreciated by the United States. Iran has proposed a 14-point peace plan to the US government. Trump confirmed that his administration has been positively reviewing the proposal and will update on their decision soon. But in a stark contrast to Trump's expectations, a senior Iranian official warned that any US attempt to interfere in the strait would be considered a violation of the ceasefire. It seems Hormuz continues to bleed as the fate of global oil and gas supplies hangs in suspense. The humanitarian gesture by Trump, if successful, would surely bring respite to global economies. However, without a definite peace deal, it is feared that the industries would keep gasping for one of the most vital lifelines of rising economies, while the people pay the price for it.